What's up, guys? Welcome back to the Hold the Phone podcast. I'm your host, Alex, joined today by my co-host, Ryan. How you doing, man?
I'm good. Ready to talk to you guys about some football. It's been a long week, it feels like, so let's get into it.
It really has. So we're just going to do what we did last week, the 30-second game to recap last week, and then we'll jump into news, and then we'll make our predictions about the 6 games we picked out for this week. Try and keep it a little bit shorter for you guys. So let's go ahead and jump into things with the pretty boring Thursday night game that actually turned out to be kind of exciting from last week. Browns versus Steelers. You can go first.
All right. This is the Browns somewhat convincingly keeping their playoff hopes alive. I would have liked to, with how many players went out on the Steelers side of things, I would have liked it to be, a little bit more of a blowout. But, the Browns are still in this thing, so we'll see what they do moving forward. And obviously, their big incident that happened at the end that we'll talk about a little bit later.
I'm just going to keep it short. The Steelers need a better backup quarterback or a potential starter with Big Ben's injury looming. Mason Rudolph, you just don't have it. You're not good up. You should have won this game, honestly. Your defense is elite. And the Browns are, I don't know. Baker Mayfield got on track, but we'll see. Up next, the Ravens beat the Texans 41-7.
Am I going or are you going?
I'll go. I'm absolutely shocked. I really don't know what else to say. Ravens are legit. That's about it.
Yeah, I thought this was going to be a battle of MVPs, which it was. We clearly saw the front runner come out alive. I think they said earlier today on NFL Live on ESPN that this was the biggest blowout of Deshaun Watson's career professionally. So hopefully he can turn things around tonight, actually, against the Colts. But, yeah, very convincing win for the Ravens. And like you said, the Ravens are legit this year. Super Bowl contenders for sure.
All right. Up next, we got the Falcons beat the Panthers 29-3. You can go first.
First off, I'd like to say I'm sorry. This was a crazy game. This is probably the upset of the week. No one really saw it coming. The Falcons have been playing out of their mind, coming out of their bye. And Dan Quinn is fighting for his career right now. So looks like things are going in the right direction for them. Not so much for the Panthers, but hopefully they can turn things around with 6 weeks left. 6 weeks? 4 weeks? How much? 5 weeks. 5 weeks left in the season. Everything but the number it actually was.
Dan Quinn, you saved your job, at least for the remainder of the season. Ron Rivera, you're officially on the hot seat. Why do you have Kyle Allen throwing the ball 50 times in a game where he threw 4 interceptions? It was a dumpster fire from the beginning. I might potentially be hopping back off the Kyle Allen bandwagon. Christian McCaffrey, you're an absolute animal. 70 yards rushing, 121 yards receiving. Finished as the number 1 fantasy running back, didn't have a touchdown. Yeah, it's insane, bro. The amount of money they're going to have to pay him, good God. All right. Cowboys beat the Lions 35-27.
All right, go ahead.
This Lion team is a year away. Like, you did that with Jeff Driscoll. You're 3-6-1, and I think you've lost like 4 games by 1 possession. Cowboys, I'm not that impressed. It looks more and more like you gave your money to the wrong guy in Zeke, and you should have paid Dak, because the better he plays, the more you're going to have to end up paying him at the end of the year. Go ahead.
Yeah, this just continues my belief that the Cowboys are not that good. They barely beat an undermanned Lions team led by Jeff Driscoll. First off, I think you're absolutely correct about the Lions being 1 year away. And I was just thinking to myself, I was like, what do they need to improve on? And honestly, it's depth. They need depth at running back. They need depth at receiver. Obviously, some better depth at quarterback. And obviously filling in some holes.
Maybe a corner, and that's about it.
Yeah, exactly. I was about to say they look good on paper. They just need to fill out their holes. But that's what she said. I had to.
No, you're good.
But yeah, the Cowboys still can't beat a team above 500, and they barely beat this team, which is under 500. So that's all I have to say.
One last thing about the Lions, because this is just kind of impressive. Driscoll, Didn't even play bad. He had 209 yards, 2 touchdowns, 0 interceptions. But their starting running back was Bo Scarborough, who had 55 yards and a touchdown. Like, get this team some help, man.
I actually love Bo Scarborough coming out of Alabama a year ago. For those of you who don't know, he was the 7th-round pick of the Cowboys, actually, in 2018. Has bounced around. He was with Seattle for a while, and he just hasn't got anything to stick. But, yeah, that just goes to show how undeep or shallow, if you will, the Lions' depth chart is.
Yeah, and Lions, get some new trainers because whatever you're doing, all your players keep getting injured.
Yeah, seriously.
All right, on to the next one. The Colts defeated the Jaguars 33-13. You can go first.
I was kind of hoping for a closer game with Nick Foles coming back. Obviously, he was a little bit rusty. Hopefully, I don't know if they play again this season, but hopefully we can get some better games out of Nick Foles in a Jags uniform. But very, very good win for the Colts in a must-win situation. They're right at the edge of first place in their division, and they need all the wins that they can get. I thought this was a great win at home.
I think tonight is actually for first place. Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
Colts, no Marlon Mack for probably the next month, which sucks.
Yeah.
That's a huge loss. Huge loss. And Jacoby Brissett, you might be the Colts' new quarterback. I don't know if they move on. He's been balling out this season, and nobody's paying attention.
Absolutely. I think, honestly, Jacoby Brissett, besides obviously my biased Josh Allen opinion, I think Jacoby Brissett is playing so well under the radar. No one's talking about him at all, but he's been dominating this entire year.
Also, I just saw a stat that said that the Colts had 264 yards rushing. Yeah. Their backup, Jonathan Williams, had 116 yards. Marlon Mack had 109.
Sheesh.
Man, that backup averaged 8.9 yards a carry. That's insane. On to the next one. Ryan will be happy. Bills beat the Dolphins 37-20.
Am I going first or are you going first?
I'll let you go.
All right. Honestly, this, at least for now, this game saved Brian Daboll's career. The offense looked electric. Josh Allen had 4 touchdowns total, 3 passing, 1 rushing. Of course, ESPN will only show you him running the ball because that's just the narrative they're pushing. But he actually passed the ball extremely well. Honestly, this game is only closer than it is because Jakeem Grant abused our special teams, returned a kick for a touchdown. So it honestly should have been either 13 or 14 against 37. But great offense from the Bills. Hopefully they can keep that up moving forward as they have the 3rd hardest schedule in the league for the last 6 weeks. 5 weeks? I keep getting that wrong.
5.
But very good win against a hot Dolphins team.
I'm going to keep mine quick. Bills are a year away. I think next year they make like a serious deep playoff push. Just add a few more weapons. They need some wide receivers other than John Brown. Like, I would have loved to see DK Metcalf go to the Bills.
You and me both, man.
But, yeah, I think you're a year away. I really like what McDermott's building down there. Or up there, I guess. Next, we got the Vikings beat the Broncos 27-3. I'll go first. I guess the Vikings just kind of sleptwalked through the beginning of this game because at one point they were down 20-3, I think. I'm still not buying this Vikings team. I don't think Kirk Cousins can win a big game. I know they're 8-3, but I don't know. I'm not buying it.
Yeah, I agree. I also think they sleptwalked. This was the definition of a trap game. A not very good team coming in at home, middle of the season. They thought it was going to be a breeze. Brandon Allen played well. Noah Fant played well. But yeah, they were able to come back, which was pretty clutch. But I agree. I don't think Kirk Cousins is going to be able to take this team very far. I see maybe, at best case scenario, an upset wild card win against whoever they play. But after that, it's over.
So next up, the Saints beat the Buccaneers 34-17. I'll let you go first.
I mean, I don't have much to say on this one. I mean, okay, this is what we all thought was going to happen. Saints are starting to pick up speed. Buccaneers self-destructing under Jameis Winston. When I thought of this game, all I have stuck in my head is that one interception Winston had that was returned for a touchdown where he threw it like 5 feet above Mike Evans' head straight into the Saints defensive back's hands. So I just think they need to move on from Jameis Winston.
I have a few things to say. Is one, every time I think Drew Brees is washed, he comes back and has a game like this, 230 yards, 3 touchdowns. Two, Michael Thomas is the best receiver in football. He's going to shatter the receptions record on the pace he's at right now.
Yep.
And he's catching like 92% of balls thrown his way. It's insane. Also, what do they do with Jameis Winston? Because, like, if he could figure out how to not throw turnovers, he'd be an animal. Like, he had 313 yards and 2 touchdowns, but 4 picks. Yeah. And, like, somebody's going to end up paying him a lot of money to come play quarterback because I don't think he is what Marcus Mariota is. Like, I think Jameis could potentially be good if he had somebody to mentor him into not being able to turn the ball over.
New England's going to pick up Jameis Winston right after Brady retires.
I mean, shit. I wouldn't be surprised. I mean, dude, he's so young. He's like 24. It's insane. Yeah. But okay, we'll move on. Next, the Jets beat the Redskins 34-17. I don't really have a lot to say other than congratulations, Redskins. You're probably going to have a top 3 pick. And Jets, your team is in limbo. I don't know what the hell y'all got going on.
If you're the Redskins, who are obviously in contention for the first overall pick, who do you go with?
Chase Young.
All right, that's what I was going to say too, but I didn't know if you had a differing opinion.
No, Chase Young or man, they already have a good defensive line though. So like,
that's what I was thinking.
But they're not going to go quarterback again because they just took Hack. I mean, maybe they will, but I highly doubt it.
Do you trade back for a haul?
Maybe, yeah. I think I do. I wait for a team that wants. Oh, dude, we got to talk about Tua also in the notes. Remind me of that. I mean, in the news. Yeah, I look for a team like the Broncos or somebody that wants to trade up for a quarterback and immediately make that trade because they need nothing but depth on the. Like the Redskins could have a potentially good defense. They just have no wide. They have no wide receivers. They have problems at running back. They have a project of a quarterback, and Josh Norman is your best corner, and that's a problem.
Here's what I do. You ready?
Yeah.
I'd trade back for, obviously a haul, whether that's a first rounder and a second rounder, or maybe a team that has 2 first-round picks. I don't know. Anyways, my first 2 picks, if I'm the Redskins, is a cornerback and an offensive lineman. That's where I'm going. And then this draft is so wide receiver deep, they can get someone really good in the 3rd or 4th round.
Very true. Dude, Grant Delpit, I think, is going to be one of the best players in this draft, and I'm very excited to see where he goes because he's going to drop because of all the quarterbacks.
This will be this might be the best draft we've seen in a while. I know we say that every year, but
this is going to be the most excited I've been for a draft probably since the Panthers had the number 1 overall pick and took Cam Newton. So, also the most nervous I'm going to be because the whole Cam Newton situation. Next, the 49ers beat the Cardinals 36-26, which it really wasn't that because they got a strip fumble recovery for a touchdown on the last play of the game. The Cardinals, you're 2 years away and you got yourself a quarterback. That's basically all I can say. Is like I was right about Cliff Kingsbury, and it feels good to say it because I said that he was going to be pretty good, and I think he just needs a really solid defensive coordinator and an actual defense, and this team could be nasty.
I agree, and at the same time, I have to admit that I was wrong about Cliff Kingsbury. I hated the hire. I thought he was going to be a flop. I have to say I'm impressed with what he's doing down there in Arizona. I agree with you. They're 2 or 3 years out. Kyler Murray's a stud. They're just in a really tough division. So if they can just strengthen themselves and make themselves more well-rounded, I think they've got a future.
And they have a weird problem going on with running back with the whole David Johnson situation. I don't know what they're going to do with that.
Oh, yeah.
So,
how do you feel about Jimmy G? A lot of people criticized him after that win. How do you feel?
He's a prettier Kirk Cousins.
Ooh, that is a really good comparison. I like that, actually. I really don't think he's that good. He's certainly not worth all that money they're paying him.
He's a more attractive Kirk Cousins. Like, yeah, I mean, he's not worth the money. Well, I mean, I guess he is. Because if Kirk Cousins is worth that money, but I mean, he had 430 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. They had no run game. And his best wide receiver was Deebo Samuel. So, like, I'm not that mad at him, but
he also didn't have George Kittle either.
Yeah, he has to develop. That's for sure. Like, he's not a finished product, which I think Kyle Shanahan can develop a quarterback. So it'll be interesting. I don't know if he gets a second contract with them, though.
It'll be interesting to see. I agree, though. I think he's still learning how to be a good starter in this league, and I think he's got potential. I just like to see what Kyle Shanahan does with him.
I mean, he's young. This is going to be This is going to be the first season he's played every game if he doesn't get hurt. So, next we have the Raiders. They beat the Bengals 17-10. I'll let you go first.
This is a good sign, I think, for both teams. The Bengals are clearly in the tank for Chase mode / tank for whoever. Tank for whoever.
Blow
tank
for Burrow.
Blow for Burrow. Yeah, I like it. But I mean, this Raiders team is winning games. So I guess I kind of have to apologize because I smack talk John Gruden every chance I get. But he's actually doing pretty well down there in Oakland, and it's going to be interesting. They're going to be potentially the Showtime Las Vegas Raiders next year, maybe. I think the Raiders are definitely like a year or two out from being really good, and I'm excited to see where they build this team moving forward. But I mean, not a very convincing win, but they could sneak into the wild card spot this year.
Shit, bro, they play the Chiefs on Sunday Night Football, I think, next week for the division.
That'll be a good game.
Because
the Chiefs are not playing well at all.
Correction. Year. If the Raiders win this week and they're both 7-4 going into next week, then they play to see who's leading the division. Which, if the Chiefs don't make the playoffs because of the Raiders, will be hilarious. But I do think Gruden is definitely up there with Harbaugh for Coach of the Year for me. Just because he's turned this team around completely. And also, yeah, I can't wait to see them in Las Vegas. If they get some sort of star on that team, honestly, they just need a wide receiver. Jerry Jeudy, go be a Raider.
That would be dirty. Tyrell Williams with Jerry Jeudy with Zay Jones in the slot.
Also, I just heard this today on my way home. The Bears draft pick, their first-round pick, goes to the Raiders this year as part of the Khalil Mack trade.
Oh, yeah. They're still reaping the benefits.
And that could be a pretty high pick. Right now, the Bears are 4-6, and it's not looking any easier for them.
The Raiders are actually looking pretty smart for that trade. Obviously, you get rid of Khalil Mack, who was expensive, and obviously he's a great player and all. But those first-round picks that they got turned into Josh Jacobs,
John Abraham.
Yeah. Jonathan Abram.
Yeah, there we go. Not John Abraham. What am I talking about?
You were close. I knew what you meant. You did better than I did. I couldn't even remember his name until
he's out for the year, isn't he? Or he's on IR.
Yeah, but he was good.
Yeah, he's going to be a stud.
Yeah, he did play.
That's for sure. All right, let's move on. Patriots beat the Eagles 17-10. You can go first, man.
I don't know what I could say. Other than the fact that I think this is probably the weakest New England team we've seen in a long time. I think they're definitely beatable by everyone in the AFC and almost everyone in the NFC. Or no, other way around. Almost everyone in the AFC, everyone in the NFC in terms of people in playoff positions. I don't think that they're nearly what they have been this past 10 years. I think Brady's low-key starting to decline. But the numbers aren't showing it. I think he's getting more and more frustrated in his current position. He's definitely reports have come out that he's not happy with his offense presently. But I don't know. Not to be biased, but hopefully that continues. I definitely don't know if this is a team that goes to the Super Bowl. I think this team is the second best team in the AFC right now, and the Ravens are the first.
All I can say is the Patriots better pray that they get a first round or that they get home field advantage in the playoffs, because if they don't, it's going to be hard for them to go somewhere and win.
For sure.
The Eagles, it looks like it's coming down to week 16 when they play the Cowboys to see who's going to win that division, because it looks like 8-8 or 9-7 might win it.
Yeah, seriously.
And also about the Patriots, how long do you think until they call Antonio Brown and say, "Hey, bud, you want to come play for us again"?
It might be as soon as next week and as late as, the end of week 17.
Because, Mohamed Sanu came up on the injury report this morning with a high ankle sprain and is probably out for the next 2 weeks.
Sheesh.
So now, I think they're starting receivers for this upcoming game against the Cowboys are like Julian Edelman and N'Keal Harry. I think N'Keal Harry is going to start as the 2.
I mean, that's what they drafted him for. I just can't believe the ups and downs that this Patriots wide receiving core has had since the beginning of the season. How they had AB, they had Josh Gordon, they had Karen Meredith, who's now on IR. Their first rounder, N'Keal Harry, got put on IR. Like, everything is just nothing happened the way we thought it was going to, and it's crazy.
And yet, they're what, 9-1?
9-1.
Probably going to go beat Dallas this week, but we'll talk about that later.
Yep.
Next, we got 2 left. Rams beat the Bears 17-7.
You could file this under one of the worst Sunday Night Football games of the year.
Dude.
Cringy to watch. Not a fan.
It was bad. Mitchell Trubisky left the game late with a hip injury, which he got benched, basically.
Did he, though?
Oh, he got benched.
Yeah, no, he got benched, but did he leave with a hip pointer?
Oh, no, because he practiced all week in full.
Yeah.
How are you going to pull somebody with 3 minutes left saying, "Oh, he's got a hip pointer," and then practice him all week in full?
Yeah,
also, the Rams have no offensive line.
Do you want to know what I think is going to happen?
Yes, talk to me.
I think that the Bears are going to end up getting somebody like Jake Fromm, either early in the second or late in the second. Because obviously there are a lot of good quarterbacks in this draft, and although Jake Fromm is really good, I just think there are better people in front of him. I think Matt Nagy moves on from Trubisky. I don't see him sticking around. He's not that good. What do you think?
I think that they stick with him for another year. Unless they can draft somebody like Jake Fromm. But if it falls to where they have to take somebody like Jordan Love or somebody like that, then they stick with Trubisky and they try and suck and get a high pick for next year, where Justin Fields, Trevor Lawrence, people like that are coming out. Because people keep saying they're going to trade for Cam. Well, they can't afford Cam.
Yeah. Cam's
under contract for $21 million. If they trade for him, they have no... Literally, I don't think they can. I think they'd have to trade away a giant player like Michael Floyd or somebody like that to even afford him.
Well, maybe they do both. Maybe they draft somebody like Jake Fromm and then keep Trubisky through his 4th year and kind of see if he's got anything left in the tank. Maybe make him a trade asset and obviously sit Jake Fromm and let him learn on the bench.
Maybe, but I don't know. If they draft Jake Fromm, that city's going to tear the stadium down if they don't start him over Trubisky.
We'll see, man. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either.
I kind of like to see that.
Yeah, that's an exciting idea. Let's move on to the game that happened in Mexico City. Chiefs beat the Chargers 24-17.
You can go first.
Cam Newton, you want to go be a Charger? Because they need one. They need a quarterback.
Yeah, they do.
Honestly, don't hate it for him if he does go there, but man, this team's so damn good. They just need a quarterback. And the Chiefs, I don't know what's going on with them. They do not look good. Mahomes, I don't know if you're injured or what, but you don't look good. The whole team doesn't look good.
I don't like their mindset. Their GM's kind of lacking for me. I mean, hey, my defense is kind of trash. Let me trade one of our best defensive players in parentheses D Ford, this offseason, and let's just sign the honey badger, and all of our problems will be solved. No, your team is so porous. Your your defense is just mediocre at best all around the board. I think your two best players are Frank Clark and the honey badger. Everywhere else just kind of sucks. Offensive line is kind of whack. The receivers are great. Quarterback's great. Tight end's great. Running backs are okay. I don't see it.
Are the receivers great?
The Chiefs do. Dude, yes. Tyreek Hill, Sammy Watkins, and Mecole Hardman.
Okay, Sammy Watkins is washed at this point. Mecole Hardman's fast, and Tyreek Hill is an animal that can't stay healthy. So, you have Kelsey, basically. I mean, in this game, their leading receiver was Kelsey, 7 for 92. Then LaShawn McCoy, 4 for 28.
Yeah, if I'm a Chiefs fan, I need to see a major reconstruction of this roster in the offseason. They need to be signing guys, especially linebackers, especially offensive linemen. Try to get another receiver in there just to make it more depthy. And please, for the love of God, draft a good running back.
Also, I don't understand. They keep talking about how they're going to extend Mahomes at the end of this year. Why? You don't have to extend him for another, year, I think? Maybe 2 years.
I thought they already extended him. They extended him last year before the AFC Championship
No,
game.
they said they were going to for $200 million, but he hasn't been extended yet.
Oh, okay.
But why would you pay him early? That makes no sense to me.
Yeah, no one's gonna come and sign him from your team.
He's not gonna leave if he knows you're paying him $200 million.
Yeah,
but
I would just wait. Their GM, I don't know. Their GM isn't the best.
All right, should we get into the news?
Oh yeah, let's do it.
All right, you start us off or?
Yeah. So if you guys were watching the Dumpster Fire Thursday Night Football game last week, you probably saw with 8 seconds left that Myles Garrett tried to take the life of poor Mason Rudolph, who's already garbage and has already had a tough year as it is, being concussed and all. But yeah, so they got into a little brawl with 8 seconds left, up 14, and Mason Rudolph, who initiated the fight, who was shoving and trying to take off the helmet of Myles Garrett, Browns defensive end, then kind of cowardly hid behind his offensive lineman while Myles Garrett ripped off his helmet and smacked him in the head. If you haven't been following all the news with that this week, Myles Garrett just got suspended indefinitely, so for the rest of the year and postseason. And he appealed it, and it got upheld, so they're keeping the indefinite suspension. Mike Pouncey, the center for the Steelers, got suspended, and I believe Larry Ogunjobi, the defensive tackle for the Browns, also got suspended.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts on this?
I think they got the suspensions correct, I guess. No, actually, I don't.
Mason Rudolph is playing, so I don't.
Okay, well, I think we're going to disagree on that. But first, I think Mike Pouncey should not have gotten 3 games. He should have maybe gotten a game.
Well, it got switched today to 2 games.
I still don't like that. He should have gotten a game. He was just defending something. That's literally like if me and you got in a fight and you hit me with a bottle and then somebody came and punched you in the face. And then that guy gets arrested also. It makes no sense to me why Pouncey got such a lengthy suspension. Good God. But the Garrett suspension is correct. He shouldn't be. He shouldn't be playing for the rest of the year. Why do you think Mason should have gotten suspended, and for how long?
I certainly don't think that Mason should have got a season-long suspension, although Steelers fans might have liked that.
True.
I think he should have gotten at least a game, maybe 2, maybe 3. 3 would probably be the max for me. I'd like to see maybe a game or 2.
But for
he
what?
He started all of that. He was the one pushing Myles Garrett. He was the one initially trying to take helmets off. He was trying so desperately to rip off Myles Garrett, and Myles Garrett actually just did it successfully.
Okay, true, but it was a penalty on that play for the hit that Myles Garrett had originally on the sack, or not the sack because he threw the ball away, but it was a penalty. And so Mason was just pissed off, and he tried to pull his helmet off. He didn't pull his helmet off. He didn't succeed in that. So what did he really do to deserve a suspension?
I mean, that's
Because
against the rules. Like, you're not allowed to take off other players' helmets.
But
like,
he didn't get it off. I think if he would have ripped his helmet off, then he probably would have been suspended. But since he didn't do it, he didn't really do anything except for talk.
Oh, for sure. I mean, that's a loophole too, because he didn't actually get the helmet off.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Clearly intent.
Yes, there was clearly intent, but also, I think he got his suspension by taking a helmet to the head, basically.
Yeah, I mean, touche, but I mean, I think if you suspend Pouncey, you have to suspend Rudolph also.
That's true. I guess.
Just a quick note also, Myles Garrett did try to appeal it. Obviously, I said earlier that it got upheld. But he referenced that under the current CBA, a indefinite suspension is not permitted, but the NFL went with it anyways. Myles Garrett also referenced a 2013 brawl by the Houston Texans player who did something very similar. I think he swung his helmet but didn't actually make contact. And the fact that he didn't actually make contact was the NFL's reason for upholding the suspension.
Yes, he also said that Mason Rudolph called him a racial slur, which Mason Rudolph's attorneys basically came back and said, hey, you're just saying that so that you cannot be suspended, basically.
Yeah.
Which, if he did, there's still no reason to hit him in the head with a helmet because you literally could have killed him. You're actually I actually heard people saying that the side of the helmet is actually the harder part of the helmet than the top, and that really made no sense to me, but
who knows, man? But I mean, also, to build that case, Larry Ogunjobi, who, like I said, is the other Browns player that got suspended, they asked him about the whole racial slur incident, and Ogunjobi had no idea what the guy was talking about. He said, that was the first I've ever heard of it. You asking me about it right there.
Well, also...
so clearly it wasn't very poignant in the Browns locker room.
Also, how do you say his name?
Ogunjobi.
How stupid are you to run over Mason Rudolph after he just got hit in the head with a helmet?
I kind of liked it. But yeah, that was a stupid play.
Of course you did. So, what else happened? The Colin Kaepernick situation. Let's make it kind of brief, but what are your thoughts on it?
For those of you who don't know, the NFL set up a very weird, to say the least, workout for Colin Kaepernick to try to get back into the league. An hour beforehand, he moved it across town, which obviously upset a lot of people. But he just wanted transparency because the NFL wasn't going to allow media members to come in, and obviously Colin wanted media members there, so he moved it. From what I saw, it looks like a pretty average workout. Like, obviously he still has it. He's been working for 3 years. I didn't see anything spectacular in that workout, but honestly, I didn't know what to expect going into it. But I don't know. I still think he can get a job in the NFL. I think he kind of hurt himself by moving the workout, but we'll see. What do you think?
So, just for transparency, I really like Colin Kaepernick, and I think he deserves a job in the league, but I think he screwed himself by moving this interview. Oh,
sure.
I think he screwed himself because you had a chance to perform in front of 25 NFL owners, and instead 8 came to your workout, and then afterwards you held a press conference that was basically calling out the NFL owners. Well, dude, you're trying to get a job with them. Don't call them out. Like, you should be sucking up to them until you get the job and then act out. Go out there and ball out and do whatever you want to do. But right now, you're just trying to get a job. That's why a lot of people think he just did it for publicity. I don't think that's the case. I think he actually wants to be an NFL player. It was a weird workout. From what I saw, he only threw the ball. He didn't run or anything. And I heard a lot of people saying that if it would have been the NFL that was running the workout and not him, they would have made him run a lot and just to see if he was in any sort of game shape. Because, I mean, I could take, like, Kurt Warner right now and say, go throw me some passes. But, like, he's obviously not in game shape. So, I don't know. I don't think he gets signed, but it was good to see that he still has it.
I would love to see him in the XFL if things don't work out for him in the NFL.
Well,
I think that's the only way to actually get him in a game so people can see.
They offered him $20 million. No, they offered him a contract, and he said, I'll only come play if you pay me $20 million.
Which is idiotic.
It's just dumb. Like, go ball out for a year in the first year of the XFL and then get signed to somebody.
I was about to say, is it really going to be that bad actually playing on a team and still getting paid? Not nearly as much as you should. But
and you're obviously going to be the best player in the whole XFL if you go.
You'd get so much media attention. Anyway, yeah, I think that would be perfect for him.
You'll be the face of the league.
Not taking advantage of
it's insane. Yeah. All right. Last little piece of news: Tua Tagovailoa, Alabama's quarterback, dislocated his hip in their blowout win this Saturday, or last Saturday. He dislocated his hip. He's out for the rest of the season. A lot of people were saying it's the same injury that Bo Jackson had. It wasn't the exact injury, but it was similar. So he's done for the year, and a lot of people are saying it's definitely going to hurt his draft stock. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts are terrible coaching by Nick Saban. You're up 22 in the second quarter. Just put your backup in. You already know you guys are going to win. Tua's having a great year, and he's trying to make it in the NFL, and you just ruined his chances. If I'm Tua, I'm actually kind of excited because now he has the chance to fall in the draft, which, as we all know, means that he's probably going to end up on a better team. He's going to end up on a better team with a better record, with better pieces.
Carolina.
Rather than getting on exactly. Rather than getting on a terrible 0-10 0-10, 0-11 Browns team, the Dolphins, who are also trash,
or Cincy, somebody like that.
Also, I'm pretty sure Tua has insurance that kind of bails him out in case this actually happens, like in case he gets hurt and his draft stock falls. So
what happened was apparently right after the injury, like the day after, he took out an insurance policy on himself where if he makes it to the NFL but never gets paid, he still gets money. It's a very weird insurance policy where, like, if he makes it but gets hurt again or like gets hurt at the combine or something, he gets paid. It's very weird. I think this screws Alabama. They're done in college football, basically. They're the 5th seed right now in the college football playoff. I don't think they even make it because who knows about their backup. I know their third stringer is his brother, but he's a redshirt. And, man, Carolina, just do the right thing. Just do the right thing for me. Let me go from Cam Newton to Tua.
That'd be a smooth transition.
Dude, I'd literally be just as happy as I was the day we drafted Cam Newton. But the problem is I don't think he'll drop as far. Well, shit, if Carolina keeps losing, we might have like the 8th pick or something like that. But, oh man, don't get me excited already. Do you have any other news for us before we run through these games really quickly?
I don't think so. That pretty much covers it on my side.
Right. Yeah, I don't have anything else. I can't think of anything that we're missing hugely or anything. So first game we're going to go over, we'll make these kind of quick, guys. The Thursday night game, it's the Colts versus the Texans. Game is in Houston. Big game. It's for the division. You can go first, man.
This is going to be a fantastic game, hopefully, knock on wood. Obviously, like you just said, divisional and playoff position implications in this game. I think if I had to guess, without Marlon Mack and a banged-up T.Y. Hilton, I think the Texans are going to run away with this one at home. And if I'm being completely honest, I think they are the best team. Obviously, they need a better offensive line moving forward, but I think they win this game.
I agree with you. I think the Texans come out win, but I do think it's going to be a little bit closer. I'm going to go 28-21 Texans.
I like it.
Remind me to ask you about fantasy advice after this game real quick because it has to do with this game after the podcast. So next is the we're just going to go in the order I wrote it down. Cowboys versus Patriots. I believe this is the 4:30 primetime game. Thank God this game. I'm actually happy this game is not a nighttime game because I'm so tired of seeing Dallas at night.
Same.
Man, Cowboys, you got a chance. You have a real chance to go in there. I hate that this game is in Gillette for you guys, but the Patriots are so banged up. I think you hand it to Zeke about 30 times and you let him run. And if that's not working, then you give it to your MVP candidate. And I don't know. I'm picking the Cowboys. I don't know why, but I am. 24-20. Yeah, 24-20.
I don't think the Cowboys have a chance. This is a team with a winning record, so it obviously goes in the L column. But I do think it's going to be a close one. I think it's going to be like 35-28.
Oh, man, I would hope so. That'd be an electric game. I don't know. For some reason, I just think the Cowboys are going to win. And then everybody's going to freak out about the Patriots, who are going to be 9-2. But
hey, I would love for a Patriots loss. Don't get me wrong. But
I know. I'm rooting for you every week. Next, we got the Seahawks taking on the Eagles. This game is this the... Oh, no, it's a 1 o'clock game. It's in Philadelphia. You can go first.
Sorry, I lost it. Seahawks versus Eagles. This honestly might be a really good game. Probably, well, never mind. San Francisco plays Green Bay. I was going to say it's the game of the week, but that's probably going to be the game of the week. This is very important for both teams. Because if the Seahawks win and the San Francisco 49ers lose against the Green Bay Packers in Sunday Night Football, the Seattle Seahawks will move into, I think, the second overall playoff position because I think Green Bay will then have the tiebreaker.
Yes, unless Seattle has beaten Green Bay.
I don't think they've played, and I don't think they do play each other, but I think just based on, like,
I think you're right.
We'll see. Either way, they're going to be in a top two seed in the NFC, which is where they want to be because right now they're the 5th seed, which is a wild card spot. The ability to move San Francisco from that position is huge, and this is equally important for the Eagles trying to keep their playoff hopes alive in a very weak division. I think this game is going to be really good. I think it's probably going to be like. I think it's a shootout. I think it's going to end up being like 42-33.
I agree with everything you said. I do think the Eagles need it more, but the Seahawks are just so much more healthy. So I'm going to pick the Seahawks 31-30.
Nice.
I don't know how they get to that score, but that's what it's going to be.
Scoregami.
Yeah, I don't even know if that score is possible, but I guess somehow it is. Next on the list, we have the Packers versus 49ers, the game we just kind of talked about. I'll go first. I think it's a blowout. I really do. I think the Packers beat the snot out of the 49ers just because the 49ers are so banged up. I don't think they're supposed to have George Kittle. Emmanuel Sanders is a game-time decision. Deebo Samuel is a game-time decision. So if the Packers can get any sort of momentum going on offense, any sort of run game, honestly, I think they win this game pretty easily. I'm going to go, not as big of a blowout as I said, but 10 points, 24-17.
I would even say that it might be more than that. I don't know if you watched the 49ers-Cardinals game last week, but it's very evident the 49ers are gassed. After that overtime loss to the Seahawks last Monday, they're gassed. I don't know if they can keep up with the Packers' offense this week.
How hard is their upcoming schedule? So they play... Packers, oh damn. They play the Packers, Ravens, Saints, Falcons, Rams, Seahawks to end the season. Wow.
If they don't win this game, I think their playoff hopes might be in jeopardy. I think they'll still make it, but it's going to be closer than they want.
I mean, they'll make it, but I think they'll be the wild card. I think if they lose this game, Seattle runs away with the rest of the division. Well, who does Seattle have left? Hang on. Seattle has... Oh, theirs isn't much easier. They have a bye week. Wait. No, they just came off. Yeah. So they play the Eagles, Vikings, Rams, Panthers, Cardinals, 49ers.
So, also not an easy schedule.
No, but it is a little bit easier. You do have the Panthers and the Cardinals there in the middle. And the Rams, who have no offensive line.
Yeah.
So... Yeah, again, we both picked the Packers to win in kind of a blowout fashion. Next is the Jags versus the Titans. This game is in Nashville.
Well, we were talking about how important this Colts-Texans game is tonight. This is equally important. obviously, whoever loses tonight's game will be the holder of the wild card spot. But this Jags-Titans game is kind of deciding who's going to stay in the hunt to potentially dethrone the loser of tonight's game. I think I'm going to roll with Nick Foles and the Jags. But I think if the Jags end up winning, I think it's pretty much a done deal for either team. The playoffs is not going to happen. But I don't know. The winner of this game has new hope, in my opinion.
Well, I disagree. I think the Titans are going to win. I think it's a really low scoring, honestly. Probably like 17-14 or something like that, which isn't that low scoring, but it's pretty low. But the Titans actually have a hard schedule coming. They have the Jaguars, Colts, Raiders, Texans, Saints, Texans.
Yeah, they're not making playoffs.
No, 8-8 again for the third or fourth year in a row.
I think 8-8 might be generous.
True, but I mean, Mike Vrabel, or what's his name?
No, you got it, Mike Vrabel.
Yeah, he's definitely not getting fired. He's a good coach. He just needs the right. He has no quarterback, so that's a problem. Am I crazy for starting Ryan Tannehill in fantasy football in one league because my original is Kyler Murray, and I need another one?
Is Kyler on bye?
Yeah, and the other choices are Nick Foles, Trubisky, or Mason Rudolph. I'll let you think.
Yeah, I'd go Tannehill here.
Okay, thank you. All right, sorry. Enough of fantasy football until after the podcast. Last game is the Panthers versus the Saints. This game is in New Orleans, and I'll let you go first.
Okay. I know I've been saying this a lot. Like, I feel like I'm beating a dead horse or a broken record, but I think, again, this game is important for Carolina and keeping playoff hopes alive. I think this will kind of be the game that decides it for Kyle Allen against Drew Brees and a divisional opponent in New Orleans. If he can pull this one out, I think they give him a chance next year. But I'm going to go Saints with this one just because I think they're the overall better team and they are at home. And they seem to have a little bit more momentum than the Panthers do right now. Unfortunately. So I'm going to roll with the Saints. Let's go 34-24.
You're generous there. I think it's a blowout. I think the Saints destroy the Panthers, which makes me very sad, and this hurts me to even say it. But I think Kyle Allen is shook. So unless he can figure out how to get it under wraps, I'm going to go 30-14.
Wow.
Which is crazy. And what's even funnier is in our pick'em for the Unfiltered, I'm definitely picking the Panthers because I have every game this season and I'm not picking against them. But this makes me very sad to say. Nope, forget it. We're changing it back. Panthers win 24-21. Last second field goal. Yep, that's the one we're going with. I can't do it. Can't pick the Saints.
What a roller coaster that was.
It really, in my brain, it was even more crazy in there. I was like, dude, we can't do this. In my brain, I was like, no, we're not doing it. We got to pick the home team, even though it's not the right thing to do. So that pretty much wraps up the games for this week for us, guys. You got any more news for them, Ryan?
I don't think so. Just stay tuned and keep following us on social media and tune in next week.
All right. Y'all have a good weekend.